Welcome to Confessions of a Terrible Leader, where real leaders share the raw truth about the lessons they learned the hard way so you don't have to. Join our host, Layci Nelson, founder of Transcend Leadership Collective and former terrible leader. On this podcast, we invite you to step into the confessional and get real with the messy stories and behind-the-scenes reality of leadership. Let's get to it. Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. I am your friendly neighborhood podcast producer, Mary Scott, producer of Confessions of a Terrible Leader, and I am here today with our fearless leader and host, Layci Nelson. Layci, welcome back to your own show.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this, Mary.
Absolutely. I am delighted that you love to play along. So this is fantastic. We're just going to talk briefly today about one of our very exciting upcoming offerings called The Lift. Now, if you follow us, it's very possible you may have already heard us talking about The Lift on a previous podcast, or you may have seen posts on any of our social media platforms, or if you're a genius and you subscribe to our email newsletter, you would have read about it in one of our beautifully crafted posts. But because we exist in a space and time where it's post today, forget tomorrow.
Yep.
We're going to talk just a little bit, just a brief little spotlight on The Lift and why you might want to consider it. So, Layci, can you give me an elevator pitch of what is The Lift?
Awesome. Yes, I can. The Lift is custom, expertly crafted leadership intensive for emerging leaders. It is built for that leader that has either no leadership experience yet, but you have your sights on them, like yes, or on yourself for your own career. Yes, I want that seat and I want more education around how to do this well. Or for the leader that's been leading about 5 or so years, enough to really get their feet wet, enough to have had some hard experiences and some context, but definitely not seasoned enough yet to feel like, oh, I've got this for the most part. It really is that extra, like, fast up the mountain, hence the lift. Take the lift. It's faster than hiking yourself up there. It's cutting out literally a lot of years of learning into 2.5-month long intensive to really get your feet under you as a leader, learn some new skills, and be ready to take your career and your team to the next level.
That's fantastic. If I was on a literal elevator with you and like we were at some kind of business expo of some sort and you explained it to me, I would be very intrigued. I'd be like, I would like to learn more.
Yes.
Especially if I came to you as a seasoned business owner, and you touched upon that in your elevator pitch, and that was great. But let's go a little deeper into two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm a seasoned business owner. I've got a growing team. Let's say it's a team of 5 to 10 team members. And I've got some young up and coming leaders I see a lot of potential in, a bit rough around the edges, but let's say I've been in this long enough to know that there's a lot of potential here. I want to make an investment in these young leaders. Why is The Lift a good fit for me as a seasoned business owner?
So glad you asked. Why is it a good fit? It is a good fit because, first of all, mentoring is critical when you are in a position of leadership. You should be looking to replace yourself all the time. Yeah. Who's going to fill this seat when I'm gone? Or should I, God forbid, get hit by a bus? Like, you're always looking for who is going to replace me and developing them with that intention in mind. And so oftentimes in the day-to-day, with our best intentions, we get very distracted from the goal of sitting down with people, doing the one-to-ones, or we do it now and then, but we don't do it with consistency. This is a way for a seasoned leader to kickstart and reinvest their time and resources as well into that mentorship process. Because you're not just doing a cold handoff to us. What we actually do is provide the leadership that is sending their people through. You get a discussion guide that then leads you through one-to-ones to follow up every single week during this intensive to really get insight into what they're learning, how they're going to apply it, kickstart some great conversations so that you don't have those dead end one to ones or like, why are we going to meet? What are we really going to think about
Mhm.
or talk about? And I know as a leader, your attention is pulled in so many directions. The gloriousness of having the prep done for you, of
Mm.
like you just pull out the discussion guide or pull it up. It's a PDF, print it if you want. Pull up that discussion guide and you know what you're going to talk about. And honestly, there is enough material in that. You could have deep one to one discussions for if you do them on a consistent basis for, I'm not exaggerating, a year, easy
Wow.
with the content that's in
That's
that guide,
amazing.
with what they're learning. It's a really great connection point for both of you. And they're learning how to build teams. You're going to learn so much about them. They're learning them about themselves. You're going to probably learn about yourself too, honestly,
Sure.
in the discussions that you're going to have with them around the material. And then the other piece is when we constructed this, when we built out this curriculum, we thought about it as a bullseye, a
Mm.
three-layered bullseye, three
Okay.
circles. And at the center circle is the individual. Because leadership, when you understand extreme ownership, leadership starts with you, it ends with you. You're ultimately accountable. You got to know who you are in order to make all of this work. And no matter where you work, no matter what setting you're in, you need to understand the core principles about yourself. What are your own core values? What is your own sense of purpose? And then how does whatever work environment you're in become that vehicle with which you get to live out that higher calling that you feel on your life, or that higher sense of purpose that you are committed to making a difference? And we help uncover that and unpack that. And from there, we also look at your own tendencies, right? Like, what are your tendencies? What are your, this is a word that's overused, but it is appropriately used in this sense. What are your triggers for high
Mhm.
stress? How do you act when you are under pressure? Are you conflict avoidant, or do you see conflict as a tool for connection? I mean, we really get into some deep reflection. And then from there, the next circle out, okay, you got a handle on who you are. Now let's start talking about team development.
Mm.
How do you help your team members have the connection to the work that we just went through with you? And then how do you also become a superstar communicator? I mean, a world class, top shelf communication isn't just about how the words come out of your mouth. It's about understanding how to shift those words to the audience or to the individual that you're speaking to so that you are connecting with their value system and they're going to hear you faster. So,
Mm.
we help people figure out how do you do that in a team, and then how do you, just really practical things, how do you ensure that there's clarity, how do you ensure people understand what the top priorities are for the role that they're in, how do you do effective check-ins with your team and one-to-one, what makes them worth the time, how do you run a meeting that's not a waste of time? So very practical skills that are immediately actionable as they're learning them. And the fun part about this intensive is like, it's go practice it, come back, go practice it, come back. And so they're taking these bite sized pieces of knowledge during this intensive, going out and using it and coming back. And there's like no busy work. I'll get into that later. And then the big ring, the outside. So we go self, team, and then we help them understand the beginnings of how to think strategically and how to understand how to navigate organizationally and how to understand and think like essentially you do, boss. You do, leader, helping them to learn how to step into the shoes that you're in and see the business from 30,000 feet, see the organization from 30,000 feet, help them understand what alignment is and how to even ask you. You might get some hard questions because they may come back going, actually, we had this discussion and I couldn't answer this question. Where are we with this? What are the most important things we're focusing on this year? And so it's really equipping them with tools to sharpen your own leadership as well as to help them understand, like, how do you think? Not at just the frontline level, it's giving them that elasticity and that
Mm.
expanded capacity in
Yeah.
the way that they understand the business and their role in the business, but being able to step in and see it from every level. So, in a very large nutshell, that is what happens and why bosses, you should do this, because Yes, they're going to feel invested in. It's going to increase likelihood of retention. Good leadership training, which we have top shelf leadership training. We're updating it all the time. It's always cutting edge. You're not getting recycled stuff from even a year ago. We've revamped it since the first time we ran it. So it's something that is cutting edge. It's always up to date. And with the current research, the current studies, the current best practices in the context of the time we're in, if you're using leadership strategies and practices that were considered best practices 5 years ago, you're probably missing out. The whole world has changed drastically in 5 years.
Yeah.
So what held water
Yeah.
and was true 5
Mhm.
years ago and was truly a best practice
Right.
is not working today. In many instances, how it used to work, it's not getting the same results. And so we're staying on top of what is getting the results, what is working for people, especially Gen Z coming in, plus, worldwide pandemic. Yeah, just a few things.
Yeah, just a few things. Yeah.
How all of those changes, geopolitical, everything, like we are looking at it in context, which
Yeah.
is part of what sets us apart is our approach is always in context. But
Yeah.
um
For sure.
yeah, so there you go. Like leadership, you're going to get for good leadership training, you're going to get $7 back for every dollar you invest.
Yeah. And
That's
that's
what you're going to
incredible.
see on the bottom line. You're going to see increased engagement. You're going to see increased productivity. You're going to see increased retention. You're going to see higher levels of collaboration and problem solving. You're going to see more innovation. Those are all things that happen when top shelf leadership development is invested in.
Mhm.
So, yeah, you're going to get your money back pretty
Yeah.
fast.
And it's really incredible because the Lyft cohort is just short of a 90-day intensive. That's amazing. And then, as you mentioned, you get enough material where you could work with that material in one-to-ones and that type of coaching for like a year.
And your employee that goes through it, we have a membership portal and they have some self-study modules in there. And inside that portal, and we can link to actually a webinar that we just did. We can throw the
Yes,
link and they
we'll
can
do that.
see behind the scenes. But when they're in there, they have access to everything in there for 12 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like we leave you high and dry. It's like,
No.
here's an info dump, and now
Yep.
you're on your own. So there's a lot of support there. All right, flipping the script. I am a scrappy entrepreneur with a very short attention span. Tell me why. Tell me why I should sign up for the lift.
Because we don't give you busy work. So anything that you're going to be doing, we're going to be asking you conceptually bring in real stuff. We know the concepts we want to teach you, but we're going to teach you through application of solving your real problems. So you're going to bring, I have this challenge to the table during the live cohort coaching sessions,
Mhm.
and we're going to work through them with you. And it is that in and of itself is intensely valuable. You're
Yeah, bring your
also,
real problems,
yes,
like, in real time, like,
yes,
"I got this horrible email, and I have
yes.
no idea what to do with it. Help me."
Yes. I have this employee that they're super high performer, but man, they are really bringing some toxic vibes into the workplace. I don't know what the
Mhm.
next step is here. I don't want to
Yeah,
blow it up, but I don't know what to do. We solved that in real time. Everybody in the group understands it's confidential. It's a place where people are bringing their issues forward that they want solved. And strategy wise too. You may be like, I got 3 opportunities. I don't know which one. I can't do them all. And so the group looks from that 30,000-foot level
yeah,
and helps figure out what is the most aligned, right? So you're bringing in these real problems. We're not wasting time. You're going to walk away with immediate value that's going to be moving your business forward. It's not like, oh, this is taking away from the time I have to work on the business. No, this is working on the business when you're in this. Also, if you're growing and building a team, I mean, gosh, Transcend's in the middle of it right now. Like, we have had no consistency for 3 years. Like,
true.
consistency in the good things, in the
Right,
things like the meetings and but because we are in, like, such a massive growth phase,
right,
everything's always shifting, right? It's not like,
right,
"Oh, we got it in place, and now we're good to go." It's like, no, you gotta learn how to move through that and communicate through that and have norms that are gonna stand the test of time. There's some things in your business that are gonna flex and should flex and change as you grow.
sure.
There's other things that shouldn't. And getting a really firm handle on what are the things that should stay static, like norms.
Mhm.
expectations for the way that we treat each other, the way that we communicate to get things done, the way that we communicate when one of us drops the ball, because we drop balls here just like any other
Oh, yeah.
place. What do we do when that happens? Do we immediately look at blaming each other? Or do we go, oh, the issue was the ball got dropped. There's like a crack in our system or our process somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so if you are entrepreneurial, you're always going to be, I'll say, because I'm entrepreneurial, you're always going to be wreaking havoc on your people.
It's true.
Shiny object syndrome is just part of your genetic makeup. Like it's just who you are, which was part of what makes you absolutely fantastic at being entrepreneurial, right? Is you gotta be a little bit nuts to volunteer to ride that roller coaster over and over and over and over again.
So true.
Some days you're puking off the side like 5 times, but you're not gonna get off. So
Right.
yeah. This is as much as learning about how to build a team so they can go execute and kill things, but it's also learning about how to manage yourself while managing your team so that
Yeah.
you set them up for success.
Yep.
Because you're a
Yeah.
lot. You're a lot. If you are entrepreneurial, you're a lot. And you need to know how to set your team up to be able to succeed and hold you accountable where you need it, as well as to understand how to effectively communicate and give them permission to be as direct with you as you need them to be. I mean, there's so many lessons in there. Basically, this is how do you build a team and have them not resent you
Yeah.
because you're always changing, you're going after something new. They have lack of clarity. But what feels like freedom to you
Mhm.
probably feels like chaos to them.
Right, and could potentially be driving them crazy. They're like, "I never feel like I know what's coming.
Mhm.
Once I get one thing down, something shifts and we gotta, like, start all over again." And besides the inevitable aspect of needing to flex in a growing company, that's just, I think, like we were talking about, it's part and parcel of the entrepreneurial journey. Speaking from my experience with Transcend is our quarterly and annual meetings are huge, and those are non-negotiables in
Mhm.
setting our course. And I can't imagine functioning in a business without quarterly and annual meetings.
Yeah, you
And
did.
I
You ha
did. Well, I did have experience from that. And it was like, not here. No, it was not a Transcend. I will not reveal where it was from. But it was every week, it was like, wait, what are we doing? Who's that? And turnover was massive. Uh,
Mhm.
so it was you never really knew who you were gonna work with or what was getting done, and people were like, "Well, I don't know who that is, and I don't know who you are." I'm like, "Well, of course you
Right.
don't know who I am. You just
Right.
got here."
And what's your job? What do you
Right.
do?
And man,
Yeah.
nobody knew what the other person was doing, and so I have seen it,
Mhm.
on both ends of the spectrum.
We don't
Yeah.
do this on purpose. We're not like trying to make chaos for everyone. It's just if you don't know better and you don't know a different way, you do the best you can with what you have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is just if you're thinking about if you're entrepreneurial, if you're thinking about it, if you're building a team, if you've started a business and you know you're going to need to build your team, this is especially if you don't have a great model to follow, if you
Yeah.
have had limited exposure to what it looks like to have a great boss who's really good at leadership and who's really an excellent crystal clear communicator and helps you understand all those 3 bullseye levels, this is your chance to get that learning in a very accelerated package.
Right. You won't be devoting years and insane amounts of money. This is not business school. And certainly business school has its place,
It
but
does.
it absolutely has its place, and it's important. But this is not that. And you also might be, if you're considering the lift, you also might be wondering, well, does anyone have any actual feedback, people who have experienced the lift? So this is not our first cohort. We actually first started talking about this before our first launch in April.
Mhm.
So we actually now have some real life reviews from real life people. And
Yes.
I'm going to link to that in the show notes to a video, a lovely video review left for us by one of our first attendees of the lift. We're really grateful for that review because it's real.
Yes.
But it will give you some perspective of how the lift benefited this particular individual and her business
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
basically help her path moving forward. So really valuable. I urge you to check it out. Well, Layci, that was a fantastic exposition of what the lift can offer to you as a seasoned business leader or a new entrepreneur. Is there anything else you'd like to say in conclusion of this exposition of the lift?
Just check it out. And if you're on the fence, 'cause you're like, oh, this is an investment. It is an investment. And you're going to get that 1 to 7 ROI on it, as well as if you're like listening to this and you're interested because you want some things to change and to be a little bit different, you got to take action. It doesn't happen by hoping.
Yes. Yep. So true. We can hope all we want, but
Hmm.
then that is one of the biggest things in the entrepreneurial journey is you got to take the
Yeah.
jump, you got to take the risk.
Goals without a plan are just wishes. So,
Yeah,
yep.
so true. Well, we're going to link to the webinar. We'll link to the video review, and also just want to remind you, listeners, we are real people. We would love to talk to you.
Yes.
If you have any questions about the lift at all or Transcend, reach out to us and we will absolutely have a conversation with you. No strings attached, just a
Yep.
conversation for sure.
Yep.
We would love to talk to you. So, Layci, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it as always. And listeners, you know what to do. Go manage like a leader. Thanks for listening to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. If you're feeling brave and have your own terrible leader story that you'd like to share, head over to transcendleadershipcollective.com/podcast to fill out a guest application. We'd love to hear from you. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is hosted by Layci Nelson and produced and edited by Fixation Point Productions. Music is by Leif Olson and Mary Scott from the band The Number of Months. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is a free leadership resource offered by Transcend Leadership Collective. If you are ready to refuse the limits of average leadership and join the leadership revolution, visit transcendleadershipcollective.com to check out our offerings for engaging workshops, strategic planning, and more. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And until next time, go manage like a leader.